A TV show just sent me a DNA test. Here it is. Okay, so here is the DNA test. A casting producer reached out through Instagram and they said that they're doing this new show on DNA and genealogy. And I think because I'm an adoptee, they thought maybe it's interesting to interview me. There are no guarantees that I'll actually be on the TV show, but here we are. And I wanted to just give my perspective in being an adoptee and the significance of the relationship between DNA testing and adoptees. Here we go. So I think one thing that's interesting to note is that I've actually had this 23andMe DNA test kit for the last year just sitting on my floor. And I think that notion is indicative of the ambivalency that I have towards DNA testing. In some ways, I'm really excited to be submitting my DNA to Ancestry.com, and I guess I'll also submit to 23andMe. In some ways, I'm very excited to learn more about my background, about my ethnicity, maybe getting in contact with people that are biologically related to me. I don't know anyone that's biologically related to me. All of those things excite me, but I also know that I have no idea what that will feel like. I don't know if my whole reality is going to be sort of changed. I don't know. So I think I'm really trying to go into it with an open mind, to have very, very minimal expectations. But even saying that, I do have expectations. So it's sort of a hard thing to balance, and I'm trying to do my best in thinking about it, but I am excited to take the next steps and to see what happens. So if you're also an adoptee that's thinking about doing a DNA test, I just wrote down some basic questions for me to answer for myself, and I'm going to answer them right now, and maybe these questions will help you as well. So the first question is, do I have any expectations for the results? So even though I'm trying to minimize my expectations as much as possible, the reality is, yes, I do have some expectations. I was born in China, so I consider myself, and I think of myself as 100% Chinese, ethnically speaking. So with that said, if it turns out that there's a significant portion of me that is not Chinese, I don't know how that would feel. It sort of sounds weird, even me talking about that. But yeah, I guess that there's a possibility of that. What if I find any relatives on the platform? So I do know some adoptees that have done 23andMe before, and they've been connected to other third and fourth cousins usually. So I guess my expectation going in is that I'll likely be connected to other people that are third or fourth cousins, which is super cool. I definitely would reach out to them. I think something that I was overlooking before is that reaching out mechanism goes both ways. So I have the opportunity to reach out to other people, but that means that anyone that's connected to me can also reach out to me through the platform. So I think there's just an emotional readiness that I need to have with that. What if there are close relatives on the platform? So this is honestly something that I haven't truly considered or considered the weight of yet. I guess based on probability, I feel like that's a pretty low chance. But that being said, I mean, if I have a close relative or a sibling or something like that that's on the platform, yeah, that would be a lot to take in. Of course, I would be very excited, but I guess I just don't know how I would react without seeing a result like that. And then also, just in saying that, I don't want to, I'm sort of building up expectations just by saying that. So I do want to minimize expectations for myself as much as possible. But yeah, I can say I would be very surprised, to say the absolute least. And I think I would be excited about that. Okay, so the next question is, the marketing around DNA tests often suggests that answers will be uncovered. But what if those answers just uncover more questions? So I think that this question is especially pertinent to adoptees. I'm in a few adoptee Facebook groups, and DNA testing is a big topic of discussion. And I think oftentimes those discussions are framed around answering questions about your identity and having solvency regarding something that was previously unknown. And I think that that's sort of this expectations thing that I was previously talking about. I think that the reality is that either you'll take a test and maybe you won't feel that much different, which is reasonable, or you'll take a test and sometimes you'll have more questions after taking the test and looking at the results. So I think for me, I just want to make sure I'm approaching this from a place of curiosity and being extremely open-minded when I get back the results, and just being okay and understanding that this is just a step in my ever-evolving identity. And I think that this is related to the next question, which is, how do I think my identity will change after getting back the results? I think this question about identity is a very good one. And I think I've been pretty comfortable with this idea of my identity is always changing, continuing to evolve and grow with literally everything that happens in my life. And I think that with doing both of these DNA tests, that's just another step in the progression of learning more about who I am. I can learn about myself through DNA. I can learn about myself through family, biological family, adopted family. But I can also learn about myself through just the different experiences that I have on a daily basis through my life. So, some of these things are more significant than others, for sure. But yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with the idea of this being just another step in that progression of knowing more about who I am and continuing on and forward with my life. So I'm not sure if that makes sense, but it's just going back to approaching this all with curiosity as opposed to expectation or anything else. If you're also an adoptee watching this video, let me know how your experience was if you did any of these tests. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave them below and I'll do my best to answer. I'll probably get back these test results in a few months. I know there's a delay because of the TV show doing their analysis. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.